Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate the time, Ranking Member Cole. The amendment that I want to speak to you all about today, it's simple. Let's not pay to poison water. I requested time today to testify in support of my amendment, which is number 43 to Division C for energy and water development. Now, what does this amendment do? To read it specifically, none of the funds made available by this act may be used for the application of herbicide chemicals as determined by the administrator of the EPA to control noxious aquatic plant growths and aquatic invasive species, right? This amendment prohibits funds from being used for the application of herbicide chemicals to control invasive plant species. Why? That's the question. Why do this? Right now, we work to see lakes like Lake Okeechobee in Florida and its tributaries and all other waterways pristine. Taxpayers spend billions of dollars to restore America's Everglades as a part of the comprehensive Everglades restoration plan. All of us in these committee rooms have voted to commit nearly $6 billion, billion with a B, so far to these projects because it's good for our nation's public health. It's good for the environment. It's good for the economy. It's good for our waterways. But at the exact same time, we see helicopters and airboats commissioned by our government to continue dumping toxic chemicals into the very waterways that we are fighting so hard to clean up. That shouldn't make sense to anybody. They're doing this by spraying additional chemicals. They're undermining our restoration efforts. They're wasting taxpayer dollars, wasting the appropriations that we put into restoring the Everglades and other waterways while endangering the health of every person that comes in contact with these waterways. Let's be specific about it. Some of these herbicide chemicals that are being used, glyphosate, they've been linked to cancer in human beings as we speak. Chemical companies who produce glyphosate, they're paying out more than $10 billion to settle cancer lawsuits across the country. Well, at the same time, we're speaking right now about having an appropriations package that would put nearly $24 million into spraying those exact chemicals into waterways. Other chemicals that are being used, aquathol and endothol, they come with warning labels that say on them, don't get these chemicals in your eyes or you might go blind. Don't use them without gloves or you're going to burn your skin. Make sure you wear a mask because you shouldn't be breathing them at all. At the same time, the federal government, like I said, paying to dump these very chemicals into our waterways. It's unacceptable. We should not allow that to happen. That's why I want this prohibition in there. This issue, it's not limited to Florida. This is a nationwide problem that needs a nationwide response to ensure that the federal government is not willfully poisoning Americans. Now, for the sake of our public health, for the sake of our environment, I do believe that we need to come together, make a commitment that if we wouldn't put something in the bathtub with our children, then it doesn't belong in any one of our waterways. That's the way that I would ask all members of this committee to look at it. Think about those chemicals, aquathol, endothol, glyphosate. Yes, the concentrations that we use them in absolutely matters, but would you want something that comes with those labels that tens of billions of dollars have already been awarded in compensation claims because of the cancers that people have had from chemicals like this? Would you want that being dumped into any one of your waterways, sprayed by helicopter, sprayed by airboat, sprayed in some other way? Would you want that in there? And I ask that you support this common sense amendment. I thank you, and I yield back, Mr. Chairman.